Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So today's video, I'm going to be building just a little engine stand frame that LS's can bolt into. So it'll have a flat strap, 2 bolt holes, both sides on the motor mount, probably on the top. Have 1 vertical drop leg with a square rectangular whatever frame underneath of it with 1 tab coming up and catching a bolt hole on the starter. And that's basically it. Just enough to keep it from rocking. It'll be stabilized. Put little caster wheels on it. Then this engine can roll around in the shop wherever, bagged up. I can put it upstairs once I get up here all cleaned up. Up there's supported extra well for engine weight. Store a bunch of motors up there, transmissions. So anyways, let's get at it. So as I was talking with that flat strap that'll bolt in, this is the bolt spread. So this is just a piece of flat iron I'm going to cut out this size, 6 inches long, 2 inch. Put holes in the center that are 4 3/8 apart, center to center. And so we'll use the bandsaw to cut them. And then that'll bolt right here and here. So anyways, we'll start with that, get it cut, holes drilled, and we'll go ahead and bolt it on with the old motor mount bolts. And then we'll figure out our drop height. We'll measure kind of the width of the motor, do a rectangular frame, and weld the verticals to it. So I just measured my motor front to back with the balancer. It was like 26. I want to go a little more than that. And then the width, about 1 inch wider on both sides, is 22. So I'm going to go ahead and build that frame to that size roughly as well. Use these Kimball Midwest drill bits. They are pretty nice. They drill good. And I just use this central machinery mill drill press combo setup and drilled these out. So now I'll just go make sure they bolt up and everything's good there, and go ahead and build our frame. All right, and just using the old engine bolt hardware, I'm going to bolt these onto the side of the block. Had a good fit. Got them bolted on both sides. So now we'll use some 1 inch tubing and build the box frame that goes around the bottom. We'll do a crossbar that'll pick up the 2 legs for the front. And then, like I said, in the back on the starter side, we'll have a vertical post as well. So I got 20 inch pieces here, add the 1 inch outside, gives you your 22 or 28 long. So anyways, that's the long end, short end. I'm just gonna tack it up, get it as square as I can. So I'll tack these corners so they're not flexing. Rotate it around, weld in this end piece here. I got 1 more piece to cut for across here for the motor to sit on. And then I'll get it close in place, measure my verticals, get my 45s cut on both sides, and then we'll hold this thing up into place, tack it up to the motor plates, and we'll figure out our end vertical stem, But yeah, so I got one more to cut for here, but in the meantime, while that's cutting, we'll tack this all in. I got the frame all welded up. I'm not going to weld the bottom, so there'll probably be caster wheels on the bottom. But now I'll go ahead and measure on the motor, figure out where I want this crossbar, and then we can measure this up to the motor on our verticals. So I got my marks from the end of this, 13.5 forward, 13.5. That puts my beam or my vertical post in the center of this to the motor mounts. This does hang out past the front of the motor, but the theory is that dampener's gonna be about inside of it or flush. And so if I built a couple of these and rolled the motor up there, the frame's gonna bump before anything hits the balancer or whatever. So just protecting the thrust bearing and the motor and all that from stuff bumping it. So anyways, I'll go ahead and weld this crossbar in. All right, got that crossbar in. I went over and measured the oil pan, gave myself an inch or so from the frame on the oil pan, and that was 13 inches to about 3/4 of the way up that bracket. So I'll set my saw up to cut a 45 for the motor mount bracket, and I'll cut it from peak to the base, 13 inches. And then we'll figure out our width and get it tacked onto the frame. Then we'll hold the frame up to the motor, tack the verticals to the motor mount brackets if it works out right. And then we'll take it off, finish weld it, and then we'll bolt it up and try it out. Got the stand welded up down there and up here, both sides. Try to get it pretty level with the motor. Doesn't have to be perfect, but now I'm going to build a leg that comes up with a piece of angle iron or something that comes out, so I can put a bolt in the starter bolt hole, and it'll hold the back of the motor up, keep it from rocking. It'll be strong enough to roll around, and then I'll weld some casters on the bottom. We'll be done. Alright, got my vertical welded in the back. That's bolted on. Got a bolt in there, so I'm going to go ahead and weld across top and in the back here. And then I'll weld some caster wheels on. Then we'll go ahead and unbolt this, and we're going to shoot some paint on it. that's how it looks. And yeah, rolls around. Put the motor on there, you can roll it around the shop. I'm gonna put it up in the balcony up there once I clean up there, and then it'll get bagged up like that in storage. All right, got the paint all shot on this thing. I just went with the aluminum color. Makes it look lightweight, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I'll let this dry. And I'll go ahead and pick this engine off stand and put it on the cart. Show you how it works. All right, got the stand all bolted back on there. So I just start 2 bolts on one side, swing it over, start the other 2. Get the rear bolt started in, snug it up, and then snug up the other side, and you're all bolted up. So I'm gonna use my cherry picker, pick this off, and get it so it's on the ground and off my stand. All right, like that. It's on its own little stand. It's pretty stable. Can't even move the motor. Rolls around. So yeah, anyways, just a little short video on building a little roller cart. It's almost like building an engine stand or a run stand, but shorter to the ground. So anyways, if you like this idea, go ahead and make your own and store your motors if you need to. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you guys want to see more.